The mainstream media will tell you that the Dutch farmer protesters are about environmental irresponsibility. But could it be that this is the Great Reset in action? Hello there, you 5.7 million awakening wonders. Thank you for joining us on this great voyage towards truth. If you don't subscribe yet, subscribe now and turn on your notification bell. We make a video every single day. And in order to use the algorithm, we have to ensure that you participate with us. Who knows if big tech platforms treat people that convey radical news in the way that they should? At our first ever community event this weekend, I had a fantastic time. I wish you'd been there. It was fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you were there. I spoke to Vandana Shiva, the great activist and scholar, a woman who ain't afraid to bring down the globalist agenda, a woman who ain't afraid to call out Bill Gates and other technocratic globalist tyrants. These are her words, not mine. I talked to her about the Dutch farmer protests. While the mainstream media may be portraying the Dutch farmer protests as an anti-environmentalist movement peopled by selfish farmers, Vandana Shiva, with her experience in how corrupt, centralised agricultural, monocultural giants are oppressing independent farmers all over the world. This is connected to the land grab of Bill Gates. This is connected to corruption of companies like Monsanto. This whole fertiliser situation is a scam. They present it as a green ideology. Oh, we can't keep using these fertilizers, and anyone who lives in the rural area will know that when those fertilizers get used, you think, oh God, is this a bit dodgy? But the reason that farmers are using those fertilizers is because it's necessary economically, because of the pressure they are under financially, because of government enforced imperatives. And the objective isn't to get the farmers to behave in an organic, responsible, ecologically apposite manner. No, far from it. It's in order to bankrupt the farmers so that their land can be grabbed. My mind was blown by that. This shows you how the Great Reset operates. It uses a green agenda, and just so you know, I agree with the green agenda. I think that the planet should be treated with love and respect, that we should see ourselves as in harmony with it. But when regulations are passed down from a globalist level and it affects the lives of ordinary farmers, it's the duty of all of us to support them, to stand in solidarity, to give them time to make those transitions, to say to the farming and agricultural community, we'll support you by buying your products if you make these concessions and changes, which we'll agree between us. It doesn't need to be mediated by technocratic globalist bodies. We, the people, can make these decisions together. Anyway, you don't care what I think about this stuff, but you should care what Vandana Shiva thinks. She is a bold, brilliant world teacher. Stay to the end of this clip. You're going to be smarter at the end of it. You're going to understand stuff that they don't want you to understand. It's vital that you watch all of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give it a thumbs up. Share it around.
Vandana Shiva, I'm so honoured that you have joined us today.
I'm very happy to be here physically with you, Russell.
I feel like that you are one of the most important voices in the activist movement, and particularly with regard to the challenges we face with the ongoing rise of globalism and its observable consequences. I'd like to start off, if I may, by asking you about the current Dutch agricultural protests. As a person that's only taken my information about this protest movement from the mainstream media, I would see this issue seems to have been framed as, well, there are new ecological regulations that need to be introduced to prevent Dutch farmers irresponsibly using harmful toxic fertilizers, and that their protests have been framed very negatively by the media. Can you tell me, is there a different perspective on that you could share?
Well, there are many different ways of looking at and responding to the crisis we face. We do face a serious crisis caused by industrial agriculture. 50% greenhouse gases come from farming with fossil fuels and chemicals, and shifting food long distance, transforming it with ultra-processing, packaging it. All of this has added up to greenhouse gases. But that same system that is punishing the farmer is as punishing the earth and is punishing the consumers through disease. When did it start? The chemical fertilizers are a byproduct of Hitler's regime. The IG Farben group of cartel of corporations, combined with Standard Oil of the US, used fossil fuels to fix atmospheric nitrogen by burning fossil fuels at very high temperature. Now, there are better ways to fix nitrogen, and that is, well, let the earthworms give you 40 kilograms per hectare. Let the soil mycorrhiza work. So what's happened is the same people who are pushing a very anti-nature, anti-people, anti-life globalization agenda shaped a system that has caused a problem, forced the farmers into that system to use chemical fertilizers, to get the cows off the grass and into factory farms, then feed them with GMO soya that's chopping down the Amazon. 40% of soya goes for animal feed. Another 40% goes for biofuel. It's not feeding the world. All of this was forced on people through regulation. It was forced through subsidies. 50% of the European tax money was going to create this kind of agriculture. Now, the same people who caused the problem are saying, farmers, you're responsible. It's a bit like saying to a person who went obese because of junk food, to say, you are responsible. No, the junk food industry is responsible. The Pepsis and the Cokes are responsible. The fertilizer. These are identifiable players. And there's a principle of justice called polluter pays. The original cause of pollution is the manufacturers and the governments who subsidize it, and the governments that promoted the false idea that without chemicals you can't grow food, and billionaires today who are promoting that same false idea, Bill Gates. So there are huge numbers of alternatives, but farmers need to be given a 5 to 10 year period of transition, and the structures that were created to promote chemicals should be used to promote ecological agriculture. You need new research, you need new schools, and you definitely cannot punish the victim. Farmers are a victim of this system.
So these are systemic problems that have complex origins that even include that great moniker of 20th century evil, the Nazi Party. But at the point that we hear about it, it is reductively conveyed as an issue that for which the agricultural industry in the hands of individual farmers is what's culpable. It's so interesting the way that information is rendered. And also, Vandana, sometimes I have to marvel almost at the mendacity of a system that can create problems, present solutions, and at every step of the way it's to the ongoing advantage of centralized financial and sometimes state powers, and to the continuing disadvantage of us as individuals and as the inhabitants and partners of the planet. It's extraordinary to me. Sometimes it's because some of the connections that you have just made in answering that question are difficult to make, and sometimes it's because those stories are simply never told. So in short, you're saying that really we should be supporting those farmers and recognizing how this admittedly ecologically difficult practice came about.
Absolutely. And I think we definitely need to see the world that the greedy want to create. All of natural resources in their hands, all of land in their hands. The same billionaires who are telling the farmers, forget the land, take money and leave it, want that land. The same people who say, oh, food is unnecessary, we're going to make lab food, are the very people who are then also investing in land to have real food. It's the ultimate colonization that's happening, and it's condensing everything that's gone wrong. In my view, the witch hunts were really killing those people who lived and taught the life that we are part of nature. The witches were teachers of oneness with nature. They were the ones who were hunted down. And that for a century or 2 centuries, 9 million people killed in Europe. It was a killing of the ecological mind. The colonialism, then the chemical agriculture from Hitler's Germany, the new GMO push, the earlier push, the new push. All of this is combining to say we will disenfranchise you, we will not let you make your living, we will not let you have a livelihood, because with the earth, with her animals, with her trees, we can create life. The fact that people are marching in every country on cost of living should become a deeper question. The right to live.
When so many powerful forces combine to create a power matrix, why is it that these ideas are continually dismissed as conspiracy theories? When you just described, the killing of the ecological mind through the witch hunt, when you described that, explained that colonization is in a sense an extrapolation on the dominion that's already been established with a domestic population, and what we are seeing now is a billionaire class land grab, where the idea that we will have unmediated relationships with nature becomes less and less likely. Why is it so difficult to have these conversations, and why is it so difficult to achieve alliances when it seems that there's so many of us have shared interests? Why is it that why is there not right now a global agricultural movement that ordinary people are engaged in?
Well, I think the three reasons why the natural alliances are not emerging without effort, and we will have to put love and effort into it. My next commitment is to reach out to conventional farmers and show them it is possible to have ecological agriculture rich in nitrogen. In our movement, Navdanya, the nitrogen in our soil through ecological methods is 100% more than it was 20 years ago. And in the chemically farmed soils, it's 22% less. In effect, nitrogen fertilizers are a way of extracting soil nitrogen by killing the soil organisms. Why don't people know this? Number one, the science was distorted. When I started this work in 1984, the text used to say soil is an empty container. The soil is living, the richest ecosystem. Without fertilizers, you cannot feed the world. And that is what was taught in every agriculture university. All our public money was used to push agriculture in that direction. The second reason why people don't know and we are not having these conversations is the billionaires have bought the mainstream media. They've totally bought the mainstream media. And even the social media is their media.
Well, what do you think of that? Do you feel a little bit smarter? Do you feel that globalism doesn't sound like a conspiracy anymore? That this agenda of the WEF and the Great Reset, which, by the way, they explicitly declare they're doing themselves, I'm talking explicitly there, about Klaus Schwab, there's going to be a great reset. I've got too much spit in my mouth. I think I'm allergic to this cat. Oh God, where is my cat? Did you enjoy it? Did you learn from it? Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. Give us a thumbs up. Turn on the notification bell. It's the only way I can be absolutely sure that you are getting this content. Are you reading the subtext? I'm not overestimating your intelligence, am I? Make sure you pass these videos around. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either one of these. Sign up to my mailing list. I'm doing live events, like small live events for 100 people, online events for hundreds, massive events for thousands. This movement is beginning to grow, and it's all because of you, and I want you to be part of it. So sign up to my mailing list right there, right now. But more important than any of that, please stay free.